All right, so looking at our midterm review, midterm is going to be R1 through 4.1. So don't forget about the R1 and through R10, the pre-chapter stuff. So for number 1, what is 8 to the power of 0?
0.
1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Got to know that. We're going to skip number 2 just because it ends up being a big number, but just looking at it, what do we do with negative exponents? Flip them. So 3 to the second power would go on top, and negative 6 to the fifth power would go on the bottom. And then we would just evaluate it, but it ends up being a big number, so we're just going to leave it like that. I think it should be, what number is going to be bigger, the top or the bottom? Bottom. It'll be B. All right, and 3. What is the square root of 9? 3. Perfect.
Plus or minus 3.
It's only plus or minus when you're solving and you take the square root of both sides. When you're just simplifying, it's just 3. So be careful with that. All right, let's look at number 4. So just looking at this, what's the first thing we would want to do?
Make the S a 1.
Awesome. We can change the S to just be 1. Because S to the power of 0 is just 1. So when we multiply by 1, we just get rid of it. So here I have negative 4 times R to the power of negative 8. Now we don't like negative exponents. So how can I make that exponent positive? What do I do to it? Put it in the bottom of the fraction. Which term has the negative exponent?
R.
Just the R. So just the R is what goes to the bottom. So that negative 4 stays on top. And then we put R to the power of 8 on the bottom. So that would be answer A. All right, let's look at 5. So again, we don't like negative exponents. What do I have to do with the negative exponents? Swap them. If it's on the top, I bring it to the bottom. If it's on the bottom, I bring it to the top and make the exponent positive. So that S to the power of negative 10 is now going to go to the top and become positive 10. 8 to the second power goes on the bottom, and R to the 8th power goes on the bottom. And then what's 8 squared? 64. So this would be 64 times R to the 8th power on the bottom. So which answer choice would that be? B. Perfect. Verse 6. What happens when I multiply? What do I do to the exponents to combine them? Add the exponents. So multiply, we add the exponents. So it'd be B to the power of 3 plus 8. So B to the power of 11. So when you multiply, we add them together. And the base stays the same. What about when I have an exponent raised to an exponent? Power to a power. We multiply. So this would be x to what power? X to the 45th power. So that would be A. Or for 8. On top, I'm multiplying. So what do I do to the exponents when I multiply? Add them. So what would I have on top? Y to the 17th power over y to the 4th power. Now I'm dividing. What do I do to the exponents when I divide? Subtract. So it'd be y to the 17th power minus 4. And 17 minus 4 is 13. So it'd be y to the 13th power. Any questions here? All right, let's look at 9. What would I need to do for 9? I multiply the 4 and the 3, but what else gets the exponent of 3? 5. So if I have two things inside, I have to distribute that exponent to both of them. So 5 to the third power times d to the fourth power times. So I just distributed that exponent of 3 to both things inside. So 5 to the third power would be 125. And then it would be d to what power? D to the 12th power. So that matches answer choice D. All right, number 10. The area of a rectangular yard with a width of 6a squared b feet is 72a cubed b to the fourth power square feet. What is the length? What is my area formula for a rectangle? Length times width. So the area is equal to length times width. So it gave me the width. So I'm going to take that, plug it in for my width. And it gave me the area. It said that the area is 72a cubed b to the fourth. So I'm going to plug that into a. So I have 72a cubed b to the fourth power is equal to the length times 6a squared b. So this question is asking me for the length. How would I find the length? So I want to get L all by itself. What would I have to do to get the length all by itself? Awesome. We divide both sides by 6a squared b. So now I can simplify this, and I'm just going to do it one step at a time. First, I want to simplify the numbers. What's 72 divided by 6? 12. How do I divide the variables? If I have a cubed on top and a squared on the bottom, what would I do with the exponents? Subtract them. So it would be 3 minus 2, which would be what? Just a. A to the first power, just a. And then we do the same thing with the b's. What's the exponent on the b on the bottom? 1. So it'd be 4 minus 1, which would be 3. So my length is 12ab cubed. So let's look at 11. How would I add these together? What do I need to do? Add like terms. So I'm going to start with the squared ones. We just add the coefficients. The variable part stays the same. So this would be negative 1 plus 3, which would be what? 2. So 2g squared. Then I'm going to go to the g's. Negative 4g plus 9g would be what? Negative 4 plus 9. So that'd be 5g. And then negative 2 doesn't have a like term, so it'd just be minus 2. So that would be our answer, which matches answer choice A. 12 is the same, just add your like terms. Let's look at 13. Perfect. We always want to distribute the negative when we subtract. So it gets distributed to everything behind it. So this now turns into a plus 5 and minus 3d. And then just like before, we combine our like terms. So I start with my squared. I don't have any like terms with that, so it's just minus 3d squared. Then the d's. So d minus 3d would be what? Negative 2d. And then the constants. So negative 3 plus 5 would be plus 2. And that matches answer choice A. $14 is the same thing. We have to distribute the negative before we start. And 15, same thing. Distribute the negative before we start. and then just combine like terms. Any questions here? All right. For the next page, we are multiplying. How would I multiply these together? FOIL. So I got to FOIL them out. So multiply the first, this would be m squared. The outer would be 3m. The inner, minus 4m. And then the last would be minus 12. So m squared minus m, because we're combining our like terms now, minus 12 would be a. So we just FOIL and combine like terms. So 18 is kind of the same, but it just has 3 terms in the second one, so we just have to make sure everything in our first parenthesis gets multiplied to everything in the second. So starting with the x. What's x times x squared? X to the third power. Then I have x times negative 8x would be negative 8x squared. And x times 2 is 2x. And then we can move on to the negative 3. So negative 3 times x squared would be negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 8x would be what? (24x). Negative 3 times 2 would be negative 6. Then from here, we combine like terms. So we start with the highest degree, that would be x to the third power. Don't have any like terms with that. Then we can go to x squareds. So this would be minus 11x squared. Then the x's would be plus 26x. And the last one is our constant, so minus 6. So that matches answer choice C. Any questions here? For 19, how do I multiply this? We write it twice. Perfect. B minus 11 squared is like saying B minus 11 times B minus 11. Then we have to FOIL. You can never just distribute that squared when you have 2 terms on the inside. So here, B times B would be B squared. B times negative 11 is negative 11B. Minus 11B, then plus 121. So B squared minus 22b plus 121. So that matches answer choice D. And for 20, I would have to do the same thing. Write it twice and then FOIL it out. So it'd be 9f plus 10 times 9f plus 10. Then you FOIL. And for 21, what would I have to do? Just FOIL, same thing.